On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
I think it depends on the person. And cut it out, JR.
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we don't want to make it a traumatic thing, because look at the man, Nelson Mandela. He went to jail for 20 years, right? He came out. His wife divorced him years later, though, right? She stood by him. So we have political prisoners that are in jail. Free Brendan Green, my brother. He's doing 30. Free Lateef Johnson. He's doing 30. Free Autumn. So what happens is a lot of time people are in prison, and some people are in prison for things they haven't done and they're not guilty of, right? And if you have a support system, like you said, a village, we shouldn't shun them at all, because it could be you, right? It could be you. But just like Courtney said, it don't have to be prison. It could be a coma. It could be cancer. It could be mental health issues. These are things that will put a burden on your partner, and your partner has to be willing to cope with that, right?
Can't be me. Can't be me.
Anybody else wanna?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it from a different perspective, because I know somebody that was close to me, and their guy went in, did 7 years, right? And when he was getting ready to come home, I told her, I said, wait, like they had been talking, and they was, all ready to jump the broom and this, that, and the third. Whoop-de-whoop. So let me answer the question first, and then I'll give context. Can a person ever be the same in relationships after prison? I don't think so. I don't think you can. And the reason why I say that is because we all are constantly evolving. Time changes you. It should change you. And one thing for certain, it depends on how you're using your time. It's going to either make you better or it's going to make you bitter. And when you're sitting in 6x9 or 8x12 or whatever that cell is, the world kind of stops for you. People that's on the outside, it keeps going for them. This particular individual told this girl, let me tell you what his priorities were now. He told her he needed a TV. She needed to send him money for a TV, put money on the books for a TV. And I'm like, why you not putting money on his books for some books so he can better himself, so he can come out and be prepared? And I told her to wait. She didn't want to wait. She was in love, and they was going to get everything together. But see, the world stopped for him while he was in. And that's what happened for most brothers, and then you come out. What happens? You still have to fight the same world. Now you got that F on your report card. You got that F on your report card. So not only the world that we're regularly fighting as men, and all these pressures and weights that we got, not only are we fighting that regularly, but now you go in and you apply for a job and you told you can't get it. Why? Because you got that F on your report card, right? And you're introducing all types of other pressures and just different things that impact the relationship. And so for me, my experience is a little bit different, because I've seen it up close. And they're in the process of divorce now, and it's not pretty, and there's kids involved. And so I'm not saying maybe mine is a lot more anecdotal. But I think on average, it could go good and bad. I haven't seen where it goes good and bad, but I don't think people are the same once they get out of jail. I don't think they're the same in those relationships. Even if you think about in the movie American Me, right? Dude got out. I can't even remember his name. Do y'all remember that? American Me? When dude got out and then he started dating old girl, and he was still had a prison mindset. When they was intimate for the first time, he was thinking prison, super aggressive, overpowering, overwhelming, just stop it. It was just insane. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it was insane. He still had a prison mindset. That's where his mind was. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think people can be the same in relationships, man. It's going to take a lot of therapy, a lot of growth, and a lot of development.
It's funny that you said that, because really hit on a point. Me coming home was a little bit different from most of the people I know that go to feds or state prison. I'm an anomaly in regards to that, because I had my degrees, I had my businesses, and I had my real estate. So I came back to an easier transition, right?
Did you have a village to surround you?
I had everything.
You had a community. Yep.
I took care of everybody. That's why I said I took care of everybody. I made sure everybody was good. So when I came home, I was good, and I had my degrees. I could get a job and do all this. But with the people you're talking about, is the population that I tend to deal with my programs. They go in at a younger age with no degrees, no work skills. So coming out and trying to have a relationship with a modern woman is a little bit hard. It's hard, right? But it's not impossible. There's no excuses, but it's not impossible.
Okay. Anton, you wanted to say something?
No, sir. I'm gonna opt out of this one.
Okay.
Anton does not do prison talk. I don't even like that in my sphere. I just I'm about to go get. I don't even do the what do them earthy people be doing with the smoke? Sage. I don't even do sage, but I'm about to go send Rita out to go get me some sage. I don't want any of that in my sphere. Anton is a square, and I only hang with squares, and I'm gonna stay that way, buddy. So I'm gonna opt. This is the first thing that you've posed as a subject that I'm gonna opt out of, JR.
Okay. All right. Nobody else. It's just a little. Go ahead,
I
Courtney.
will. And I understand what both King and Rilla is saying. But with anything that's traumatic in your life or that you go through is going to change you in a relationship. So if someone's in a coma for 3 months and they wake up, they're not going to be the same. You can get in a car accident. You're not going to be the same. So anything traumatic is going to be change worthy in a relationship. Prison obviously is, because it's a whole nother environment. People, shanking folks. I don't know. I'm just had the vision of Fleece Johnson, the booty warrior, so people get raped.
Oh no, not Fleece. Not Fleece.
Yeah. He wants you, he don't get you.
Courtney said, I like you.
That's the inception.
I like
want
you
you.
and I want you.
And we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Not Fleece.
Courtney.
And so I'm thinking about Fleece Johnson, and I'm like, no, you're encountering characters like that. So obviously you're not going to be the same coming out of prison, especially how long of a bid you have. If you went there from a year, it's going to be completely different from you doing 20.
Hey, can I add one other thing though? Because I do want to shout out, and I think King may agree with this, because I think on the flip side of that, I don't want to sugar honey iced tea on everybody that has went to prison. You have people like for real. You have people like Wall Street Trapper who went in and ran into somebody that was in there for a white collar crime, and that man that was in there for a white collar crime taught him the game about stocks, and now. You get somebody like Wall Street Trapper that's on the outside, and he's able to make meaningful contributions to our community in terms of educating people on the stock market. And so, nobody, again, to your point, you go through something challenging like that, nobody's the same. I think it depends on the person. And cut it out, JR.
I mean, at the end of the day, we don't want to make it a traumatic thing, because look at the man, Nelson Mandela. He went to jail for 20 years. Right, he came out. His wife divorced him years later. Right, she stood by him. So we have political prisoners that are in jail. Free Brendan Green, my brother. He's doing 30. Free Lateef Johnson. He's doing 30. Free Autumn. So what happens is a lot of time people are in prison, and some people are in prison for things they haven't done and they're not guilty of. Right, and if you have a support system, like you said, a village, we shouldn't shun them at all, because it could be you. Right. It could be you, just like Courtney said, it don't have to be prison. It could be a coma. It could be cancer. It could be mental health issues. These are things that will put a burden on your partner, and your partner has to be willing to cope with that, right?
Can't be me. Can't be me.